All right, Alabash Cash.
How was your day?
You say, who's my daddy?
I said, how was your day? Who's your daddy?
Well, yeah, that would be an intimidating thing. All right, so we're going to get to Matt Walsh pretty much pronto, although going off of a tweet I just saw, I have a bit of insight for tomorrow's debate. What was the one thing from her one interview that everybody said was fantastic, including the commentary podcast people and all sorts of podcast people who thought, and Bill Maher, and they all thought, oh my goodness, wow, what a way to answer. What was the one answer she gave during her one interview? Do you remember?
Mm-mm.
When Dana Bash asked her, Donald Trump said, you're not really black, you're newly black sometimes. And she said, next question. Next question. Same old playbook. Next question. Next question. And for some reason, she was given all sorts of praise for really what was really not having anything come to her head to answer.
Right.
Same old playbook. Next question. I mean, that's actually a failing at a question. But everybody said, wow, that was a powerful moment. Very powerful. It wasn't powerful at all. But that is what she's going to do tomorrow night. Be super, ultra calm while he's jumping off the walls. Next, typical playbook. Typical Donald. Not, you know what? You can say what you need to. We're all used to it. Typical playbook. Next question. And it's going to be that stuff. And
I think that will be bad for her.
Well, I think but the
If she
media
does
wants
that.
the narrative of, because they know that universally everybody said, wow, next question was good. And that means she's calm under fire and she doesn't take bait. And then they'll say, oh, see, she didn't take bait all the time, all through the thing. I'm going to play now for you, Alice. I talked to an old friend of mine today named Matthew Walsh, who we've talked to a couple times, of the Daily Wire. That's a great show, obviously, on the Daily Wire. The I Am a Woman movie, I mean, What is a Woman movie? It was a freaking really political masterpiece.
Yeah, it was kind of a coup. It was really great.
It really was. It really was. Now he's got a new one called Am I Racist? It is.
And, of course, his star turn in the other movie, the sports one.
Oh, yeah. Daddy Ballers? Lady Ballers.
Lady Ballers.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And that was a great movie. And he kind of borrows from that character a little bit in what fell.
I don't know.
What part of our life collapsed?
I think the microphone from All You Can Eat.
Oh, okay.
New All You Can Eat podcast out.
By the way,
it was supposed to be posted tomorrow, but you may, in fact, listen to it
I
tonight.
launched it, unfortunately, by mistake, but today. But that's good. Today's the day. Here's a typical day. My riding lawnmower, the wheel fell off.
Well, first, the belt came off.
Belt came off. Alice had to put that back on in a conference call, so she brought a computer outside to do it. And then the wheel now is off, and it's not just like, and so we whatever. It's freaking. There's so many things that have to happen for so many other things to happen. It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, I don't want to complain. So we talked to Matt. I talked to Matt Walsh today about this new movie. But I want to start with the trailer, and then we'll go right into the interview. It's the interview. They gave me 8 minutes. They said everybody's doing 8 minutes, and then so I said okay. And so it is. I actually am proud of myself. I came in at 8 minutes 20 seconds. I'm a good little host, Alice. So here we go. Let's start with the trailer first of Am I Racist?
Let's be clear what's happening in this country. It's Nazism. Republicans are Nazis. You cannot separate yourselves from the bad white people.
Growing up in the 90s, I never thought much about race. Sure, you noticed, but it never really seemed to matter that much, at least not to me.
Being a white, straight, cisgender man, it's the top of the pile.
I'm on the top of the pile. That's me. Am I racist?
I would really appreciate it if you left.
I'm trying to learn. I'm on this journey.
Can you please leave?
If I'm going to sort this out, I need to go deeper undercover. If I want to be an ally, I need to look like one.
What is racism?
Martin Luther King said not to judge people by the...
Martin Luther King said a lot of stuff.
Is America inherently racist?
What the hell is that?
The word inherent is challenging there. America is racist to its bones. All of the...
So inherently.
Yeah.
The entire system has to burn. And I'm not going to even use save this country. This country is not worth saving. This country is a piece of shit.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
They gon' say I'm racist.
Joining us now is Matt, certified DEI expert.
Here's my certification. Where are you guys on your anti-racist journeys? So I'll look around the room and point to who we believe is the most racist person in the room. We want to rename the George Washington Monument to the George Floyd Monument. Would you mind signing it? You will? What do you think about this issue of heteronormativity and how it intersects with the broader structures of racism in society?
They gon' say I'm racist.
What's up with white people? What are you doing to decenter your whiteness?
Who's making it the center? Why are they doing that?
And what you're doing is you're stretching out of your whiteness. This is more for you in this view. White.
Folks.
White.
Trash.
White supremacy.
White woman.
White boy.
White.
Entitlement.
White.
Centering.
White.
Silence.
Is there a black person around here?
So there's a black person right here. Does he not exist?
They gon' say I'm racist, but they call everybody racist.
Hi, Robin.
Hi. And
Robin
what's your name?
D'Angelo.
I'm Matt.
Matt. Hi, Matt.
Nice to meet you.
Just had to ask who you are because you have to be careful.
Never be too careful.
They gon' say you racist, but they call everybody racist.
So that is the trailer for Am I Racist? It is the new movie from Matt Walsh. It is opening up in Massachusetts and Connecticut this Friday. You can see it. Matt goes undercover to embed himself in these different DEI groups. We talked about them in Massachusetts and Connecticut. This is everywhere around here. And Matt, first of all, welcome to the show. It's great to talk to you again.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me.
And I don't know if I need psychologist Matt or undercover spy Matt for this, but why are these upper middle class women doing this to themselves? Why do they want to beat themselves up?
That's a really good question. I've thought a lot about that, especially after making this film and being in rooms with these people and seeing what they're willing to subject themselves to. Just being berated for their race and being told that they're horrible people and all this, and sitting and nodding along to it. I mean, you'll see in the movie, there's multiple instances where I'm in rooms where that kind of thing is happening. And I don't know exactly why they are willing to subject themselves to it. I think part of it is virtue signaling, that they want to, be able to show off to their friends that how progressive and open-minded and all of that, and empathetic and all that stuff that they are, and tolerant. So there's that. And then, you could go deeper than that if you really want to get very psychoanalytical. And I think at some level, this kind of anti-racist DEI stuff is a replacement for religion for a lot of these people. These are secular people. And so I don't know if they're kind of carrying around a lot of guilt. And just like anyone does, because I'm a Christian, so I'd say we're all sinners and members of a fallen race, being the human race. And so maybe they're carrying around that guilt, and then these DEI people come along and say, here, I'll tell you how to atone for your sins, and so it's almost like a quasi-religious experience for them. I think there's some of that as well.
Yeah, well, the DEI, Robin D'Angelo is in this movie in an incredible scene. I guess I won't give it away, although it's pretty much it's leaked. But so she's one of these people who just beats on women for on these struggle session dinners, etc. that you talk about. But do you think that are the people like Robin D'Angelo, are they true believers and clerics, or is this just a grift?
I think it's probably, and I don't know because I can't read their mind, but this is just my total speculation. I'd say for the Robin D'Angelo types, I'd say it's probably like 70% grift and 30% authentic. Because I think there's no question that they're getting paid for it, and that's a big motivator.
Yeah.
There's a lot of influence and money, a lot of influence and power as well to be found in it. There's also the kind of ego stroke of being consulted as a moral and intellectual guru. So all of that drives them. But I also think that probably, I don't think that you can just like tell yourself that, oh, I'm a grifter, I'm a scam artist, and that's what I'm doing. I think you you need to be able to justify your actions to yourself. That's true of everybody. It's just human nature. So I'm sure that they also are telling themselves that that what they're, even if the things they're saying aren't always true, that it's for the greater good and that sort of thing. So there's probably that rationalization going on, I imagine.
Hey, Matt, so I live in a town in Massachusetts, and I work in a nice town in Connecticut, near Hartford, near Avon, Farmington. These are all nice places. And I'm noticing that these big, beautiful houses, big McMansions or big restored Victorians, suddenly have these signs that say "No justice, no peace." And I'm looking around, I'm saying, like, where is the problem happening? Is that part of it, that you have to explain away your mansion?
Yeah, that's it. That's interesting. I think that's part of it. I think you nailed part of the psychology for these people. That kind of goes back to the guilt. I think that they feel that they a lot of them live comfortable lives because so much of this is like an upper class phenomenon, especially the people who would willingly subject themselves to some kind of DEI anti-racist type seminar or struggle session. It's almost exclusively like upper class phenomenon. So part of the guilt is that these people live very comfortable lives and they feel bad about it. And there's no reason to feel bad about it, by the way. I mean, you don't need to feel guilty about that. You should just be grateful that you have a comfortable life and leave it at that. But their ideology tells them they should feel bad about it because they're part of, they're automatically the villains. They're not only white, but they have money. So that makes them, they're cast as the villains in this great stage play of life. And so they're trying to find some way to sort of expiate those sins, I suppose.
Is Matt Walsh. The movie is called Am I Racist? It's a bunch of theaters in Massachusetts. We'll tweet all this stuff out in Connecticut as well. So in your last movie, What is a Woman? I mean, you just simply asked questions. This one, you go undercover in a very punchable disguise, by the way, which was added to the effect of the movie, which is great. Do you ever get scared? I mean, you're messing with these people, and do you ever get nervous that you're going to get found out and beat on?
Most of the people in both films that we've been in rooms with, I wouldn't fear for my physical safety all that much. There aren't very many imposing physical specimens that we have that we've talked to. I'd be willing to talk to somebody like that, but those aren't the kinds of people that are advancing this agenda. Fortunately for me, so it's not so much. It's not physical. Really, I do go into these interviews kind of nervous, but only because we're making a movie, and if they kind of get wind of what we're up to, then it won't work for the film. And so I'm always worried that this will be a waste of time and we won't get what we need for the movie. But the thing is, unfortunately, we almost always get what we need for the movie because, these people are very predictable. And I guess if we went and talked to Robin DiAngelo and she turned out to be a super reasonable, awesome person, and it wouldn't work. We wouldn't be able to put it in the movie. But there was very little chance of that happening, and it turns out that she's not a super reasonable person. So, it worked out pretty well.
Before we let you go, Matt, just one last thing. I got 5 kids. I know you've got 5 or 6 kids. We all of them get taught about Christopher Columbus, and they're all taught, among other things, this is the public school system in Massachusetts, that he's a cannibal who eats black people. So we have to deprogram that, etc. Do you in your own life have to choose your battles, or do you let some stuff go? How rigid are you?
Well, in the context of family life and normal life and parenting, there's always marriage and that kind of thing. There's compromise, there's give and take. You have to be willing to do that to be a functional human being in the world. But when it comes to principles, when it comes to what's right and wrong, I don't think that you can compromise. I think you have to you stand on your ground and you don't waver on that. That's the only way to maintain your principles and ultimately your soul in this society.
Matt Walsh, the movie is called Am I Racist? Good luck. I envy you, and I love the work you're doing. You are really, really disrupting the progressive status quo. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Here's my guy, Alice, Matt Walsh.
You were great, of course.
Well, thank you.
I
Thank you
mean,
very
he
much.
did tell you that you asked a good question. So
I think I got it, and that's interesting too. On one of those, so, but yeah, he's a very fun and easy guy to talk to. It's funny because between him and Knowles from the Daily Wire, oh, and Clavin, they're all really, really fun and interesting and easy to talk to. Like I
And
could have talked to
likable.
him. I had one question for Matt Walsh, and it was just about like why are they doing it to themselves. That was the only one that I knew I'd go in with.
Yep.
But you can after that you're just having a conversation. And you're right. You're in it. And so like feeling it out is. I thought he was great. I hope this movie does well.
I hope so too. I'm gonna go see it in the theater. Will you?
Yeah, hell yeah,
I
absolutely.
totally will. So
I want to see who's going in that theater.
I think our oldest 2 kids would probably enjoy it too. I don't know about
Well,
the younger ones. They might be.
She's undercover, but he would. Our oldest kid would. She doesn't want. She doesn't
She'd
want
have to
any
wear a
problems.
disguise
Yeah, she
into
is
there,
working
yeah.
on,
a social life,
exactly,
among other things.
exactly. But he would. He's
Oh, he's daring.
he's
yes.
hardcore. But it is so interesting, like where you have to be, and then maybe that's what it is. And maybe it's a good sign. Like we have a house that some might even call like a big house. It's not a big house in the sense that it's not a big mansion.
I would call it rambling. Is
that a name is that a size? Rambling?
Well, I would say that our house is rambling because it's sort of like there's been things added on over the years, and yeah, it's big, but there's like
Okay. So it's not like
there's like
weird
rickety stairs.
You would
and
not
things,
come here and say, "Wow, these people are doing everything right." But you would definitely say, that like this is a fundamentally like pretty old big house with lots of rooms and this and that. Lots of, I don't mean 35.
You might go, wow, I hope they don't tear this place down.
Right, exactly. Wow, this is a beautiful place to visit. And like we have the kids have a very generous uncle and a very generous grandmother and very generous aunts and like very generous so our kids are living pretty good lives, it should be said. And same here, like but we're down to one car with no air conditioning and this and that. There's no we are not feeling guilty for our large S. And if you saw our books, you would say there is a good reason they're not feeling guilty for their large S. But you have like you guys too, listening right now, like you have some stuff and this stuff, this kind of debt, but you have things still in like we're cheating. We're our kids are living really nice lives. They don't know that we're teetering on the edge, and at any time the sheriff's officer could come over and just take the house or us away. They don't know that, but they're like so. But there's no I can't even imagine ever having is it just a female thing? Is that what it is? Do you feel just bad about having a kick-ass house? Is it guilt? Or no. I'll tell you what I think it is. I think that like a tithing in church would be, showing that you care, showing that you're super empathetic, and sympathetic.
Yep.
Showing that, and even doing it in a way with a gaudy lawn sign. 20 years ago, nobody had lawn signs except for when it was a week before the election. It just shows, you know what? You see? Yes, all this. Yes, there's 11 landscaping trucks in front of this house, but we have these gaudy, tacky lawn signs just to show you, hey, it's, you know what it is? It's the Free Tibet pin that you would have seen in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, everything else. I'm a rich kid with a rich haircut, with a rich Jeep Wagoneer that my parents bought me, but I have a Free Tibet pin. You see? I'm really good. I'm not one of those.
Well, I think the other piece is too that sometimes people who are born into wealth and didn't earn it themselves and are, especially if they're somewhat disconnected from how it was earned. You know, like I think people who see their parents work very, very hard or, you know, saw their family come up from having less and then getting more, oftentimes like understand where wealth comes from and how it gets built and how much work it takes people to get there and how much dedication and the types of life habits it takes to cultivate that and things. But I think sometimes, and you know, like I've seen this in some, like when I was in high school or college, like kids who are like trust fund kid type families that are like, you know, that they don't have a really good conception just internally of like why they're rich and some people aren't. And that offers a really compelling explanation. Like some people are rich and some people have all this stuff and some people don't. And some people live in safe neighborhoods and some people live in dangerous neighborhoods because these ones are white and white people stole all that from other people, right? Like we talked about this insane conception that people have about like America being stolen from the Native Americans.
Yes.
Like the idea that if Europeans had never come here, all this would still be here, but it would just belong to the Native Americans.
Right.
Only, and probably even be better and more wholesome and good and have like less crime and stuff. Like that's not true. Like culturally, the people who came here worked really hard to build up this civilization and this country that we live in and brought with them cultural values that specifically caused this nation to exist. Do you know what I mean? Like it took a lot. It took generations of stuff happening to make this country be the way that it is right now. Right? It wasn't just all here and we took it all from the Native Americans. And people have the same misunderstanding about like wealth that they have, right? Like if you don't know, because if you haven't really seen anybody make money and don't understand how it happens, then it's, I guess, believable that like rich people just stole it all from the labor of poor people.
Right, of course.
Right? Like people who tend to be like middle class or working class tend to understand because they see people around them making good choices and getting ahead and moving forward and people around them making bad choices and losing jobs and falling apart and getting addicted to stuff and this and that. Like people who live on that sort of cusp edge where you could go either way into being rich or into being poor have a much clearer understanding of who's doing what and why. Right? So there's sort of like two sets of people that believe that, you know, privilege comes from immutable characteristics because white supremacy and misogyny and stuff, right? There's the ones who are really wealthy and have no idea how they got that way, and the ones who are really poor and have no idea how they got that way, right? Like, who can't conceptualize it's either I'm not getting ahead and nothing's my fault, obviously, because I'm great. So, like, somebody must be to blame. Send me the free Obama phone. Right. Like, because they stole all this from me. And send me more COVID bucks and send me more of this and that, right? Like, there's that. And then there's the people who are inherently wealthy and think like, well, I don't know how people actually make money. I just wandered into it. So I'm somehow, you know, I must have stolen this from people somehow. And all those other people must have stolen it from others somehow. So, so there's sort of like both things happening. But it's the same thing you see like with Israel. Israel isn't stolen from Palestinians. Israelis built Israel. And a lot of them are Arabs, by the way. The people who are living in a prosperous free country in Israel. Like the people living in Palestine are jealous of the success of Israeli people. Like, but they're not building that in their country.
No, they're living a life where the primary ideology is to kill Israelis.
Right. So, so you see it across the board. Anywhere this like privilege ideology comes into play. And by the way, the same people who the sort of like white identity politics people, they do the same thing. They're mad at elites who got ahead somehow by taking stuff that should belong to me, and have the same philosophy as the other like gimme stuff people. Right? Like, it's all like, it makes me more of like a Jordan Peterson acolyte the more I see of people like that. Get up in the morning, make your freaking bed, and get to work.
Well, right.
Right? Like, that's how I feel about that. Yeah, Tom's stimmy money, says Tommy in New
Yes.
Hampshire. Exactly.
I miss that stimmy
No,
money.
but that's the life philosophy that people have, right? And but the flip side of it is the way rich people feel about it. Like people who are very rich who don't understand how they got that way, right? And like the more people we have who don't understand that, both on the very wealthy and the poor side, the harder it will be to dig out of the hole that our country is in, because it takes literally generations of people to build a civilization where people are productive and prosperous and free.
Well, right.
And it only takes like 1 or 2 generations to just totally wreck it.
Right. And, I do think that and it's a tough argument as well when you see people who have been here and whose families have been here for hundreds of years who continue to hate on the country and feel that the game is fixed. And let's say in marginalized communities, feel it's fixed game, can't do it, fixed, whatever. And then you have people who come from other countries, come over here from countries in Africa, by the way. I think that, I forgot which African nation it is, but I think like Nigeria or whatever is like, Nigerian immigrants are like the number one most richest demographic.
Might be Kenya too.
Might be Kenya. I don't
know.
But so like, some people come over here having read the brochure and say, oh, I can do that. If I work hard, like I'm already working here, I can do that over there, but I can have all these things and be rich. Freaking yes. Absolutely. And like, that's, and I understand that like people in this country like have privileges, whatever, but there's no excuse to not make it in America. There just isn't.
Not
and,
if you're white, not if you're black, not if you're anything.
I got a guy I went to high school with, who was like big football bro in high school, and his wife was just a gorgeous woman in high school, and they got together after high school and got married. He went into finance, and this beautiful princess, they've got a beautiful house in Winchester and beautiful kids. She keeps posting about how he won this, because he's in finance, this award for best fund manager for this, best fund manager for this. And I can feel the energy of some Winchester ne'er-do-wells, kind of like come to your friends who had parents who had money, but who just didn't work out. The kids went sideways. My great kids. I can feel the energy of them hating this. Hating this. But that dude with the place in Winchester has sacrificed his life to get all this stuff in finance.
Oh, yeah. And people do sacrifices that, especially immigrant families, that many people consider like totally non-doable today. I know so many off-the-boat immigrants from all types of continents, of all types of races, white families, Asian families, black families, who live with extended family.
Right.
Who have their in-laws come and live in their house and take care of their kid. Not only are you now paying for only one house for all these people, so it's a shared expense that makes your life so much cheaper, and you're now building generational wealth by building equity in a home that you're going to be able to pass to your kids and not get a reverse mortgage on to keep on living by yourself all lonely with no one visiting you. Like, you're sharing this cost, this huge expense, and you're allowing your loved ones to not get completely screwed over by the insane cost of daycare to actually make reasonable salaries for their prime earning years and build wealth for their kids to provide their kids even more opportunities than they had. But like, I can't tell you how many families like that, like Indian families, whatever, like people living in houses who, you know, multi-generational homes. And like JD Vance talked about this and got some flack because he talked about family caregivers instead of sending your kids to a place. Like, two of my most like radical opinions are how we treat the elderly and how we take care of very young children, like, you know, 3 months onward in a lot of cases in America, are some of the most like insane, cruel, like evil policies that we have, where we like force moms to be away from their kids for like 10 hours a day when they're 3 months old, like, is just, and taking care of nowadays.
So where are you on this? Are you with like Ivanka Trump that you're like for extended family leave, or?
I mean, I think people should have a level of financial freedom where they can do what they want to do. I think very few moms want to leave their kids at those ages.
It's kind of heartbreaking.
I think it's terrible. I think, you know, I think a lot of moms want to maybe spend some time away from their kids at those ages, just because like you want to be able to like shower and look nice and go out and talk to real human beings, and it can be very nice.
Real human beings.
But you know, there are definitely good aspects to going back to work in that sense. Like, you feel more appreciated sometimes, and like others, it can be very, very draining to feel like you're taking care of a child alone like that for that period of time. So in some sense, like going back to work like that can be refreshing because moms are so isolated now. But I think it is emotionally devastating for most mothers to leave their kids at the young ages they do. Yeah. And it's something that's a cultural standard that's changing, particularly in corporate jobs. You know, my job, I got 3 months off fully paid. And then I think a lot of like higher level corporate jobs like lawyers and doctors and stuff are nowadays getting like 6 months off fully paid. That's mostly what I hear people saying. So, I mean, we are having a cultural standard around that. I think it's terrible that we like essentially make moms go back to. I think moms want to have careers in a lot of cases and want to feel appreciated and smart and good at stuff. But I think the future is probably more flexible jobs, more remote work, more hybrid jobs, more arrangements where there's a daycare at work. Too.
Oh, what a lifesaver that would be.
I really think, like, I mean, big places like, you know, Googles and Facebooks and stuff do stuff like that where there's like daycare at your work and you can go breastfeed at your work and somebody else takes care of the kid, but you can see them
They're right
the
downstairs,
day, right? What the vast majority of like working class people have to do is pay somebody else a terrible wage that you can't afford to pay them to have your kid in an environment that's much worse than being with you. In order to work a terrible job. And that's so devastating. And most people don't, the people who are doing that, the people who are dropping their kids off at kindercare do not want to be dropping their kids off at kindercare.
No
offense to kindercare in particular, or the places we left our kids, the home daycares where we left them and stuff, like, because that was what we could afford at the time.
I saw some bad stuff at kindercare.
The people were miserable, like, and they're being paid terrible wages too, and I don't blame them necessarily, but they're awful, dark places. The only places that are worse are the freaking nursing homes and rehab centers and those places. Those places.
Let's not even get over there.
But
one other thing about, you know, there's the people who come over here and like read the brochure first before we do the chat. Nowhere in the brochure does it say to eat house cats and like beloved swans.
I don't even know like what to think about this story. I don't know necessarily if it's like a question of shooting and eating the Canada geese. I don't know that I'm like that against that.
No, it's kind of interesting. But if it's eating Mr. Boots, who was just cleaning his paws in
the first settlers to this country did things. Well, your wooden boat people did stuff like that. I'm just saying
they had to eat. I understand that.
You know, so do Haitians. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the truth of these stories. So that guy carrying the bird.
Yes.
Is a photo from Columbus from July, not from Springfield, Ohio. That's when it was originally posted. It's not clear the guy's a Haitian. Nobody has said that it is. It does seem slightly removed from standard American cultural practices.
Yes.
So
I
I
don't
feel
care.
it's likely it's a person who was not raised in typical American culture.
I-
but I don't know for sure. And like, I don't know the truth of the cat thing, although I find the memes about Trump saving the
Friggin'
cats really
fantastic.
funny.
And let me tell you something else.
Uh-huh.
He will mention that during the debate tomorrow night, and she will not have a good response.
No, because they can't. She'll call him racist. That's what she'll do, because that's what they're
Right.
doing online right now, and that's the thing that makes it like more funny specifically. And
And they'll say they're eating black people's cats too.
yeah. So, and I guess so. There was one like Facebook post or Nextdoor post or something where somebody's cat went missing and was eaten, and apparently that was a native-born American person who ate that cat.
I choose to believe it was an immigrant. I like this whole thing. I'm all for it. I'm all for him using it.
But yeah, I don't. The fact that they're like immediately saying this is JD Vance spreads baseless rumors that blah blah blah, like and racist this, racist that, like makes me think maybe it's true that people are eating things. Like I said, like we have a proud tradition of hunting in America, and if they're killing pest animals like Canada geese, you are welcome to come to New England, as far as I'm concerned, and hunt and eat the Canada geese. Do you have any problem with that? Actually, it might save some of these towns some trouble, because they always are wondering what to do about the Canada geese. Are you listening to me anymore?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Nate
Chat
Silver
time.
has Trump up to a 64% chance
I
of
saw that.
winning. I just want to throw that out there. It might go down tomorrow because there were more state polls that were good for Kamala. But
All right, you ready, bro?
yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Okay. Hope you're ready.
Are we doing the chat?
We are. Okay. Oh, nice. Oh, wow.
Habibis, Les.
Hi.
Bravo to both of you,
What?
and especially Tom.
Yes.
I've been catching up on the last week of
Thank you.
episodes.
Especially Tom.
And
Yes.
thank you for calling out the weird dynamic now in the last week or 2 weeks among the right social media sphere and the influencers and the podcasters suddenly casting weird shame on Tucker for who he chooses to have as a guest and on others for this weird, I don't know, Russian paid, not paid, whatever, which is obviously a psyop from the left.
Agreed.
And I feel wholeheartedly exactly the same way that Tom does, is like, well, first of all, there but for the grace of God go any of us. But second of all, like, the whole world is on the take. They are all on the take. And Tom very articulately listed.
Leslie, this message will be played in full.
You can compliment Tom for minutes on end. He is fine with that.
The most known Tom very articulately
I hear it.
Listed the most known suspects. So why now all of a sudden is everybody pulling out of their ass these few people? It's like, how stupid and how gullible are you? And the other reason that this hit me very close to my heart is even before listening to these couple of episodes, I thought to myself, literally today, and I even asked the old lady, hashtag cable news with mom today, I said, Mom, do you understand if I didn't care about truth, if I didn't love truth, and I didn't love the Lord, do you know how wealthy I could be right now? And honest to God, I thought of you guys, and I thought, of Alice, especially Alice. Sorry, no offense, Tom.
What?
Alice.
No.
If you didn't love the truth, and you didn't love the Lord, and you didn't know for a fact that we're only here on earth for a short time, but we have to answer to the Lord and we'll be with him forever, how friggin' wealthy and ballers we all could be right now.
Can you make that adjustment, Alice? I'd rather be a wealthy Pauler than anything in heaven. And by the way, when we were talking about like people who got the brochure, knowing what to do with the country, knowing what to do with the democracy, and doing the right thing by having family and working hard, etc., we know that we failed that test. By the way, I want to full disclosure. We know that we have not lived up to these expectations.
But we also can see exactly the choices we've made that have led to where we are. We're under no illusions.
No,
it's not because any elites took anything from us.
Don't be us. Don't be us.
And so I don't know, it's a coincidence that y'all are talking about this, and how I love how you, especially Tom, speak about this so plainly.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you. And God willing, we'll all get our reward in heaven. Love you. Bye.
The part in the middle, the part about 3/5 into it, I could have done without, Leslie.
The part that complimented me?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But the other part was fantastic. Thank you. And
good message, Leslie.
As Donald Trump wrote to me, very honest.
The last time I checked,
hey, Steve,
your name is Tom Shattuck.
Correct.
And not Gordon Ramsay. So
yes.
I find it hard to believe that you've never, ever burned a pasta dish.
What?
Tom, we've all been there. Burned lasagna.
We should just say this is all you can eat, but we'll just
burn baked ziti, because that goes into the oven.
Oh, I see.
Not on the boil. So when you try to tell your listeners that you've never burned pasta, well, I, sir, am calling BS on that.
You know what?
Well, actually, you admitted that you do burn pasta.
Well, I did once.
But it's usually alcohol is involved.
Right. Well, but that was a one-time episode that changed.
But you don't do a lot of baked pasta dishes, to be honest.
I don't. But I also don't consider ziti pasta. Yes, it is pasta. But when we should save this for all you can eat.
Okay,
but,
we'll save it.
Let's remember this.
So I just saw a Kamala Harris flag here in Bloomington.
There you go.
And it said Harris Save Democracy on it. Save democracy. So you want to vote for the candidate that no one had a voice to vote in. She was installed. Yeah. Everybody knows that Harris got where she is because she gave Willie Brown a hawk to it.
Oh my God.
Everybody knows it.
I don't know that.
Even your mom, she knows it.
My mom?
And another thing, these conservative pundits going, oh, we shouldn't be fighting dirty like they are. We're above this. Screw that. The days of Reagan, Clinton, and Bush are long dead.
Correct.
Trump came in, and he was a fighter. So, you know what? We're going to fight dirty just like they do.
I get that,
Nancy
man.
Pelosi, she don't hold punches.
True. I get that.
I mean, yeah, same. That's why the migrants eating ducks and cats thing is effective, right?
Yes.
Is because it's sticky. It's an image that stays in your mind, right? Like they can't fight it. That's why they're calling calling it racist and everything.
Says,
and it might not be literally exactly true, like this photo or whatever. But there's definitely stuff going on in these towns. Actually, we have an email from Paul.
By the way, Steve just said gone are the days of Reagan, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, Justin said that.
Justin?
I am now looking at Shea Bello Restaurant in Bloomington, Indiana.
Uh-huh.
And they say gone are the days of predictability at Shea Bello.
Huh.
I'm looking at the menu because I was made hungry by him just talking about where he lives, and I want to eat this food. Oh, my goodness. Lobster
So Paul
ravioli.
writes, greetings from Colorado. Hi, Tom,
Paul.
Alice. Greetings from Golden, Colorado. Traveling with my wife and dog from Florida, Texas, and now Colorado.
Awesome.
Our ultimate destination is back to Florida by November 1st. Quick story for you. While in Texas, we were trying to find a campground in or near Arvada, Colorado, and when where our youngest son lives, Our campground we called suggested that we think about staying further west of Denver because of the challenges we're having with homeless migrants in our town.
Wow.
The owner added, we have people on our property in tents that we can't get removed, and they are breaking into campers in our area.
Oh, man.
So from the horse's mouth. There you go. That's like live on the ground. And whatever the truth of that picture or the cat story or whatever, a whole bunch of people know and are talking about the fact that there are way too many migrants coming into this country who do not have jobs, who do not have anywhere to live, who do not have any social supports. And so while it might be a positive in the long run for our country to have lots of immigration, and in fact, like, I think it probably is a good thing in the long run for our country to have lots of immigration, you cannot in the short term absorb an infinite number of people who are relying entirely on a social safety net and not contributing to it whatsoever.
Yes.
Like, it just, you can't in the near term do that.
No, of course you can't.
Put everybody up in hotels and send all their kids to school.
Right.
And while they don't do anything and just hunt the wildlife.
Yeah, no, absolutely. By the way, I looked at all the Italian restaurants in
Bloomington,
Indiana, and there's some excellent choices there, but none of them seem to serve tripe. Just so you know, I'm just saying.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thank you for the chat messages. And you can always leave those, as you know, at burnbarrelpodcast.com. There's a red button to leave those. There's also links to different places to listen to the show. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, places like that. If you want to join us in the live chat, it was pretty quiet tonight. Tommy from New Hampshire was there, but it's probably because it's late. You can do that at patreon.com/burnbarrel.